Hi, Maria here. Welcome to my channel. Today I want to share with you, I think it's 5 fragrances that I tried over the past week that are new. I think they're all pretty much 2024 releases, so relatively new releases. I can't wait to share them with you. But before I get started, if you haven't subscribed, just go ahead and hit that button. Join the Weird Wonderful family. It would be amazing to have you part of the community. You guys are awesome! So let's get into this. Lately, I've been taking some time trying some new fragrances because I want to bring to you some of the new ones, my thoughts, that sort of thing. So the first one I want to talk about was a new line that I hadn't ever seen in Sephora called Henry Rose. And the fragrance that I tried was called Dave. And essentially the star notes in that one are tonka bean and vanilla. It has tangerine heart, neroli, pink pepper in the opening. In the middle, it has lavandin, which is lavender, orange flower, and almond blossom. And then the base is vanilla bean, chantilly, cocoa shell, and tonka bean. They have quite a few fragrances at Sephora from the Henry Rose collection, so I definitely want to try more. This fragrance fell flat for me. When I first sprayed it, it smelled very nice. It smelled like vanilla. So nothing exciting. And honestly, it just got more and more boring. So it was a nice enough vanilla tonka bean fragrance, and that's primarily what I got. I didn't notice any of the other notes in there, just essentially vanilla and tonka bean. Now, for me, I've got a lot of vanillas, and so they have to be really quite spectacular or unique for me to even be excited about them, because I've got so many amazing vanillas in my collection. So this one really didn't do it for me. The biggest issue that I had with this one is that it sat so close to the skin. So it was short-lived. It lasted max 4 hours. For that time, it mainly was a skin scent. So I found that as far as value for money is not something that I would want. Now, the thing is, when it comes to longevity, projection, all of that, everybody's different. So if you're wanting something that is closer to the skin, that's a bit of a skin scent, this one may be worth checking out. What I do really appreciate about Henry Rose is that they're wanting to create fragrances that are not going to be harmful for your skin. And as we all likely know, cosmetics, all of that stuff, including fragrance, our skin is our largest organ. So when we're putting junk into our skin or onto our skin, it's not going to be healthy for us. So Michelle Pfeiffer is actually the founder of Henry Rose, and this is what she said. When I became a mom, I started reading the labels on the products I used. I just couldn't imagine exposing my children to anything potentially toxic on my skin. Fragrance was the last black box of ingredient transparency. So I gave it up altogether, but eventually I missed it. I realized that if I wanted a safer, beautiful quality perfume, I would need to create it myself. We have to worry about so many things in life, and fragrance shouldn't be one of them. You shouldn't have to sacrifice quality for safety. So really love that message. And so I am going to explore more from their collection. The Vanilla Tonka Bean Dave is the actual name of it. Didn't really do anything for me, but I am going to try more of them because I'm quite curious now about the line. So, and I love the bottle. I think the bottle's super classy. Moving on. Next fragrance I tried is called I Want Choo Forever by Jimmy Choo. Now, first of all, I can't help it. I kind of like, I want you forever. Like, I can't help it. I kind of like that. Anyway. So Jimmy Choo fragrances don't really, I don't really jive with them. So I've tried the regular Jimmy Choo, I Want Choo, but I was excited about this one, and I particularly liked the color of the bottle. I love the style of bottles. I think they look really quite luxe. So I first sprayed it on my skin, and I was like, this is amazing. I totally loved it. It was somehow juicy. To me, I instantly thought blackcurrant, but there's literally no blackcurrant in this. So it has bitter almond and rose in the opening. In the heart, it has cherry, jasmine, and vetiver, and the base has vanilla, tonka bean, amber, and oak moss. So I got an uber fruity vibe. It didn't come across cherry to me. It came across almost more black curranty, and I was like, whoa, this is a party. I'm loving it. So I loved it on my skin for the opening. So for about half an hour, I didn't notice any rose either. Like I knew it was a fruity floral. It smelled like a generic fruity floral, but I thought it was really fun. As this dried down on my skin, I liked it less and less to the point that I wished I could wash it off. So the opening that was so glorious and like a party in a bottle, and I just couldn't get enough of it, all of a sudden became really kind of almost stale smelling. And what it reminded me of is the trashy, like, no offense, okay? So like it's just the thought in my head, okay? And it's kind of a trashy going to the bar perfume. You spent your whole entire evening there. You've been dancing, you've been sweating, your makeup is kind of half run off, and you come home and you've got your perfume lingering on your clothes the next day, and the smell of it, where it's kind of broken down somehow, but it still smells good, but it kind of smells trashy. That's somehow the vibe that this gives me. So it reminded me of Voce Viva, My Way, which, like, these are huge loves for people. And this perfume on Fragrantica, it gets 4.06 out of 5, which is really high. And there's 1,000 votes. So it's uber popular, obviously. So don't take my word for it. Go and sniff it yourself. But for me, it was just one of those generic fragrances that is... It was fun for a little bit, and it's like that the friend that seems really fun and you like hanging out with her, and then she gets a little bit annoying and you're like, that's how I felt about this fragrance. So it quickly became something that I would never wear and wished I could rub off my skin. So not a fan of this one at all. Yeah, I've yet to be really, really impressed with the Jimmy Choo. And again, I find that this DNA is kind of mass appealing. It's a fruity floral, but the floral in it feels slightly white, and it just goes weird on my skin. So it joins the ranks of, like I said, Voce Viva by Valentino. It joins the ranks of My Way by Armani, and this falls right into the same category. They just go weird on my skin. They smell amazing to begin with. Oh, same thing with YSL Mon Paris. That whole line, Mon Paris, it goes really weird on me. So those just don't work for me for whatever reason. They're happy, they're girly, and I'm more. I feel like if I were a Disney character, I would either be Cruella de Vil, but likely I'd be the octopus from Littlest Mermaid, because I just have that voice. But those perfumes do not smell nice on people like me. It just didn't work. Now, the next fragrance that I tried, and I was almost not going to try it because I don't like Angel Share by Kilian. They came out with the new Angel Share PARADIS, and it has raspberry in it, and raspberry is like... It's a weakness for me. So I had to try it, and I absolutely loved it. Now, what I thought was interesting about it, well, I'll read you the notes first. It's got cognac, liquor, and raspberry in the top. Definitely got that vibe. In the heart, it has tonka, rose, and oak moss. And the base has praline, oak, and sandalwood. So what I thought was interesting about this fragrance is when I first put it on my skin, I went to smell it, like I had it on for about 5 minutes, went to smell it, and I'm like, what did I put on here? It smelt almost medicinal or herbal, essential oily, and I think it was the woodiness and the oak moss really grabbed to my skin on that first initial wear. So at first, I got like, it smelt really good. I really liked it, but it smelled essential oil, almost like, you know, the herbally skincare that is out there. That's the vibe I got from it, and I really enjoyed it. But I'm like, this is not what I was anticipating at all. But as it warmed up on the skin, I started to get the boozy sweetness with that little hint of raspberry. The raspberry smells not too sweet. It doesn't smell like, there was nothing artificial to me about this fragrance at all. I loved it. Like, this one is one I definitely would love to have. It's just gorgeous. I love the smell of it. Where Angel Share for me smells like apple pie, cognac-y, like booziness. it's overpoweringly sweet for me. So that I wasn't really keen on, but this one, oh my goodness, the raspberry somehow cuts the sweetness or the richness of the cognac liquor vibe. So good. And the woodiness was perfect. I thought this was perfect. Like, I love this fragrance. This is definitely one I would love to add to my collection, and it would be one I would wear all the time. I am a huge raspberry fan. It falls into the category of silver saffron, mallow, and now this one. Like, I wouldn't need anything else. I'd have everything I need with those 3 fragrances. Seriously, fantastic. The next fragrance I tried, I was really excited about this one. It's Afternoon Delight by the replica line from Maison Margiela. So this has vanilla whipped cream, Madeleine, sandalwood, and musk. Now, Madeleine, the smell of Madeleine, I love the smell of Madeleines. I just think that they're delicious. Like, they're a cute little shell-like cakey thing that just tastes like happiness. So I was really excited about this fragrance, and when I sprayed it on my skin, it didn't disappoint at all. It was delicious. I got the Madeleine vibe majorly. I got, the whipped cream. It's just gourmand, sweet, vanillic, cakey. So from that perspective, it was very, very nice. The only thing about this is, again, it sits quite close to the skin. I did notice it on my skin, and it actually lasted a long time on my skin. So where the Henry Rose Dave perfume, the Vanilla Tonka one, it didn't last long, and I couldn't smell it very well after 4 hours. The Afternoon Delight, I definitely smelt it on my skin for a good amount of time, like a good 6 hours. So I could smell it. It was present. It was very, very close to the skin again. So I would have to majorly overspray for that one. So for me, the one that it instantly made me think of was Café Beignet from His Parfums, which I'm in love with. Like, I love that fragrance. It gives you that same feel. So the beignet and a Madeleine kind of smell similar. It's that cross between a cake and a donut vibe with a little bit of icing sugar. The only thing with Café Beignet is that it adds a little hint of coffee, which is there present, but not overwhelming. So it gives you that delicious kind of warm cake vibe that's not overly sweet, but just, yeah, like there's something about Madeleine, beignet, that kind of vibe where it's vanillic and slightly cakey, but not too sweet. And, a Madeleine isn't an overly sweet type cake. So the Café Beignet, that one has a major great longevity. It has major great projection. So for me, I would go with that one. And honestly, they're pretty comparable in price too. So if you want something that's going to last, that gives you that kind of vanilla cakey vibe, like smell Afternoon Delight. And if you like coffee, Café Beignet. Well, you can get samples of Café Beignet too. But to me, they're in the same family. They don't smell alike, but they're in the same family with that cakey vibe. I just think that the Café Beignet by His Perfumes is way better because it lasts longer. So that's my thoughts. I love Replica though. I love Maison Margiela. I love the bottles. I love the vibe. So it is a very beautiful fragrance and definitely one you need to sniff. Now, the last fragrance I tried out was Scandal Absolu by Jean Paul Gaultier. So I happen to love the Scandal line. I don't like the original. It goes pee on me. So I love the way it smells in the opening. And then over time, it just goes kind of urine smelling on my skin, and that never goes away. It's too animalic. But I have So Scandal. That's not got any honey in it at all. So like it just smells like raspberry candies. Really enjoy that fragrance. I have Scandal à Paris. I love that one. That one is honey, but the honey is not near as animalic with pear. Love that one. I also have Scandal by Night, which is it's like a honey soaked cherry. So good. And again, the honey in that one doesn't go weird on my skin. So Scandal Absolu, I was really excited to try it out. Now there is another Scandal that's been released this year or is going to be released called Scandal Intense. So that comes in, I think, a purple bottle, but this one is gold. I just think the bottle is very pretty. And I love the legs. I just love those legs. So was super excited to try this one. Now, as per usual, Jean Paul Gaultier, they rarely put on all the notes of the fragrance. So it has tuberose, fig, and sandalwood. Definitely got the tuberose. To me, this one really smelled like the original in the opening. So I put it on. I got a big burst of that honey, juicy feel paired with tuberose and maybe a hit of jasmine. So it reminded me actually of Scandal à Paris without that pear note. So as this dries down on the skin though, I lost the Scandal vibe altogether. And to me, there's a major honey note in this that's not listed, but it definitely, you get that honey to begin with. And then it kind of dissipates and you're left with more of that tuberose, fig. I didn't notice the fig, but the tuberose, sandalwood, and kind of a deeper creamy feel that I think comes from the fig. So I actually really enjoyed this one. I don't know if I would purchase it because I definitely liked Scandal à Paris better. Actually, I think I enjoyed all of the other ones better than this one, but this one is really good. And it lasted a decent amount of time on the skin. It projects hugely for the first hour, and then it gets a little bit less loud, but it's pretty freaking loud to begin with. So I do enjoy this one. I don't know if I would add it to my collection at this point. I'm really curious about that intense version. It's got ylang ylang in it, so it looks like it's going to be more summery. So just curious about where they take these fragrances, because I think that's always fun. If I had to choose between Scandal, the original, and Scandal ABSOLU, I would choose ABSOLU because the honey just works better on my skin. And I really enjoyed the deep aspect of that woodiness. What about you guys? Have you tried that one? If you have, weigh in and let me know what you think. So that is it. Out of all of them, the one that I hands down loved was Angel Share PARADIS by Kilian. That is a phenomenal fragrance. All of these are ones that you should go and sniff. The majority of them are at Sephora. I smelt the ABSOLU in Canada at Shoppers Drug Mart. I guess it's readily available in the States. So that is it. Please weigh in about any of these fragrances. If you've tried them, let us know what you think. It's always helpful to hear other opinions other than just mine. So that is it. Have an amazing week, and we'll talk to you soon.